How to reach enlightenment. Enlightenment's about survival, because enlightenment's a light, and light is survival. Now, light always survives. To understand enlightenment, I will give us 2 classes a day, which I will be uploading, and each will be basically 30 minutes long. And I will explain to you how I reached enlightenment, and how in sobriety you can also reach enlightenment for survival. The first element of survival is to avoid trading out the nation of which you're born into. That's pretty important. I think that's universal. It's also to not trade out heaven. Now, we can't really trade out heaven because that's what we are. We are heavenly. We are made of heaven because God is heaven. And the definition of God is heavenliness. And because God is life and heaven is alive, heaven is life. And in heaven, everything's alive. Remember that, because life flows through everything, and the universe is within heaven. And we're from heaven, that's home, and we are on the earth in a choice to learn and appreciate the lessons that we have developed in heaven, writing our own life plan from the higher dimensions of the deep past and super future. In heaven, time is travelable, and that's how we are able to bring about the best lessons for our own inspiration. They're all pretty good lessons when we learn from that perspective. It may be easier for us to start simply at the master clock 1 minute and 30th second to say that in positivity you reach enlightenment. So the positive enlightenment is the good enlightenment. It's the enlightenment of the person who is positive. Now, when I say enlightenment, I don't mean the religious term. We definitely can understand that religiosity in the traditional sense is almost counter enlightenment. So I'm not saying emptiness or nihilism. I'm not saying to deny physical reality as an illusion. I definitely do not mean to believe in duality, as in the opposite of love is hate. As I've said, the opposite of love is void. And there is no void because nothingness does not exist. Enlightenment is simply a lack of question and a influx of information. Remembering that information is what controls people and their decisions. Information is all controlled. Decisions are all controlled, and consciousness is also all controlled. This is definitely in control because in eternity all time has already been. Knowing the future is definitely the first step towards enlightenment. And the future is you will reach enlightenment. In heaven, we are all enlightened, and we are always in heaven. That's my answer. Moving forward into the future, we definitely have a capability to save life by teaching about life. And that's why teaching about enlightenment is so important. I definitely just opted out into being drafted into the Swiss Guard as Special Forces Secret Service. And basically the executive branch wanted to trade me into basically the Roman Secret Service here. So it's kind of like saying, to offer Jesus to be a Roman guard for Caesar. That's simply not my choice as a representative of Christ in my own life. So, in that perspective, let's save life together. I've learned a lot, and what I share is not, in my opinion, top secret. It's simply a fact of love and light, and how I got to do what I do, and how I got to win the way I win, basically. Well, the basic element of service is to know that you are now in service. You have dedicated yourself to come into the universe, and that is called service for intelligence. Intelligence is what you learn, and intelligence is what you're going to learn from what you've already learned. You only learn the same thing, and that is God. God is what you learn. God is you, because God is your innermost and your outermost. God is your central. The way of the between, or the path of centrality, which is to say that you can't really find a center because there's always a center to a center, so it's all the center. That seems contradictory, but in reality it's all the same place, and in every whole and every dissection of that whole there's still wholeness. So you can dissect reality, but all you're going to find at the end is reality, and that's why God is so constant. Optimism is basically healing when you know that you're already healed. It's caregiving, which is to care for those who protect you. It's also independence, meaning to say that you are where you're from, and where you're from is the universe, and heaven, and God. So God, heaven, universe, remember. So from God, which is infinite space, creating reality, and then reality becomes the best case scenario, which is heavenliness, which is really freedom into reality, or creation. And from there comes the strategic lesson ground, which is the earth, or the universe. So staying to plan. To reach enlightenment, you really need to understand why to survive. So that's, first of all, don't kill others, don't kill yourself. Don't hurt others, don't hurt yourself. Don't hurt animals, don't hurt plants. Try to live a harmless life, which is what the angels try to teach us. Angels try to stay in heaven as much as possible, and that's because they refuse to offer contrast to appreciate life. It can be understood that a lot of positivity can be overwhelming. I've been taught that positivity sometimes is hard to receive because people don't really understand what you're trying to say. And from this perspective, I'll say, don't see me in religious terms, see me in diplomatic terms. So, imagine I'm running for office, and then I want to be a president, and in that perspective, see it that way. Alright, so reality is goodness, because goodness, as we have learned, is that light. People that have experienced astral traveling, near-death experiences, out-of-body experiences, a lot of times and often, and every day, by the millions, I'm sure, go through a tunnel and see a light. If you want to learn more about that, search near-death experiences. Now that light teaches a lot. It's one moment where you learn every single thing. You can see the past, you can see the future, and it's really up to where your mind directs your knowledge from your past experiences. The light really teaches you about itself, which is God. When you phase that light, you experience God. And that's what we call us. You phase that light, and you can become that light. And it's you jump in and infuse yourself with it. We're called communion with it. In that perspective, you go to where you belong, which is a place of presence. It's a place where you know everything, and you are helping everybody by healing. And healing is knowledge, because true knowledge is where you are going to end up in your own conscience of why you did what you did, and where what you did will get you to from where you've always been and where you were, and that's where you belong. That's what you belong with. The element of trust is to know your plan and to know your future. And to know your future, you really want to know what you really want the most for yourself. And when you know what you want the most, you know what's going to happen. I guarantee that. What you want is what you need. If you really know what you want, you're definitely going to get what you need. There's no desperation in reality. It's impossible, because everything's already done. Life is an automatic sequence of all good things. And the more we are focused on that truth of the light, which is God influencing your reality, the more you're going to realize that what I'm trying to say is actually true. And saying, in reality, it's interesting that enlightenment is like the superhuman ability. When you reach enlightenment in spirituality, you reach enlightenment in technology, in mechanics, in innovation, invention, art, literature, abilities, psychic abilities. Enlightenment is the enlightenment for everything. And when you reach that breakthrough point, you really do reach enlightenment. I guarantee it. It's true. Before I reached enlightenment, which was at university, studying philosophy, I was an atheist, existentialist, nihilist. And from that enlightenment, so many enlightenments came consequently. So, it's actually at the time the comet passed. And when that comet passed, I reached enlightenment. I didn't even know the comet passed. It was afterwards, and I researched it from NASA. There you go, comets passed. So, we definitely have to understand that the concept of enlightenment is illumination. It's to bring to light. It's light. And light is not what you are, light is how you appear as. What you are is life. And that life communes and shines, and that's the visual aspect. As for sound, you could say it's all sounds put together, and all beautiful music put together. And to hear it, you're hearing your voice and what's happening right now. To see it, you're seeing what you're seeing right now. This is literally the feeling of love, and you are that love. And it's a feeling of peace, and you are that peace. Surviving with this knowledge is pretty simple. I'm sharing to you what I know is the best way to experience positivity. And just put positive words together. You can do that with your own internal memory, and you can learn all the good words that you like, and you put them together to form sentences. For example, beauty, love, peace. The beauty of love is peace. Isn't that true? Or the peace of love is beauty. Or the love of peace is beauty, and the peace of love is a cognitive, super tangible, and attractive feeling that makes you evolve into a brilliant state of mind, heart, and consciousness. You see what I did? 3 more words. Happiness, balance, satisfaction. In happiness is balanced satisfaction. Let's remember that. In happiness is balanced satisfaction. When your satisfaction is balanced, meaning when your aspirations have reached their goal, you should be happy. Now, my happiness, in my experience, is government achievement for the United States. So, when I do well for my country, I'm happy. And I seem to do that consistently in my life. It used to be for me wisdom and spirituality. When I passed that, it became American government love. When it was innovation, it was to really have the best innovation possible. And then I had so many, I'm taking thousands in inspiration, really. Then I started to share to everybody to help, for example, abolitionism, which is to release people from slavery, to bring the U.S. economy up for investments, basically. More jobs, better pay, jobs that you can leave and come back at any time, type of thing. It's definitely important that what you do leads to why you do it. And to reach enlightenment is not to have religious status, because we all know that a lot of people have reached enlightenment, yet the books don't change. That's interesting. I wish they did, and they won't. However, a lot of individuals have reached a stage of enlightenment and have been drafted to the military and fought hard and changed. Now we all know that from examples in the 70s, early 70s, and well, man, these kids were really bright. Where did they go? We wonder. We have these videos, these people, peace, love. What happened? Well, a lot of them serve combat. So you have to understand that reaching enlightenment brings you to information and power and abilities to succeed in many fields. Does not mean that you should be a violent person in return. That's counter enlightenment, which is almost impossible, so it's not going to happen, right? Innovation is really easy. It's a combination of things that exist already. So take a pen and a clock, put them together, a clock with a pen on it, or a pen that writes time. Shoe and bowl. Perhaps it's a shoe that has sucker cups, so you can climb up walls. Interesting stuff. So, frame and light, a frame that shines a light, or a light that comes with a frame. You understand what I mean. The next step is art. Art is a representation of state of consciousness, and when you commit art, you are literally representing your state of consciousness. So masters in art, in my perspective, are artists that paint or draw or sculpt or enunciate the universal patterns of what they're experiencing in reality. Like, my art looks exactly like whatever you're facing, basically by structure, which is interesting. Music also is developed with enlightenment, meaning your lyrics become positive, optimistic, caregiving, healing, sharing. You become a great giver, a good person who really does not want to make money for himself, but wants to give and share in philanthropy and help his own economy for the globe. You must understand that what I told you is really important, because what I told us, we the people, because it's going to allow you to be trusted by yourself. You're going to know yourself as an invincible creature of love who is living Earth in the best case scenario and can only succeed. And when you reach enlightenment, you're cleared by the gates of eternity to succeed. I mean, you're going to go all the way. the dream that they say, the one world, all the way. And that's a guarantee. And there's nothing that can stop that. That's the truth. And we are definitely in a time where we're able to communicate these messages safely. And we don't have to be shunned down to secrecy, because secrecy is unenlightened. This is the thing. We can be grateful that we're able to be taught this. And I'm not going against the grain here. I'm perfectly allowed to do that at this point. It's to know that God is your representative, and that you are, trust me here, whatever God is, you are. Because God is all that is. Simple as that. It's not about going up to your priest and impressing that priest. It's not about going up to your guru or to your master samurai or to your local archbishop or something. It's not that. You have to understand. Many religions are based here to attack consciousness. They're teaching you to be stupid on purpose so they can take everything from you. In one way or another, it's an attempt to take over the world by stupidity, which leads to aggression. You have to be really careful with that. Seriously. So, in true dignity and honor and service and courage, we are sharing enlightenment to survive. The reason that our ecosystem is pretty much getting run down and our animals are in massive genocide here, and we're still eating meat, which creates bacteria and, well, actually gives an opportunity for bacteria to grow. See, we're herbivores, so our digestive system is long and thin, like all herbivores, and vegan is the way to be, because that's natural and doesn't support animal cruelty. Animals feel. Now, many of us, I'm sure, have heard from the system that really influences our parents sometimes, or our kids, or whatever it may be, so hard. The animals don't feel. Are you kidding me? All they do is feel. Especially a lot of them live in hunger, so don't support people that cage animals or hurt animals. That's not normal. That's animal slavery, man. And they used to say this about different races of people. If races exist to begin with, we have to be serious about that. It's said that the reason aliens are not really helping us a lot in certain ways is that because they've sanctioned us for different reasons. So that's one answer I'm allowed to share. To do that, we need to enlighten the earth. So what I do, you should do too. Feel free to do it as much as you want and as much as you can, which is to share your light, your love, your peace, your passion, your truth, your integrity, your momentum, your emotion. It doesn't matter if you're popular in it or not. One person is all that counts. We are catalysts. One person is enlightened, and I'm sure right now we're all enlightened. And we're going to continue going, and everything we do is going to cover the earth. It's going to take a few years. It's easy. You don't even have to share the message, but you should. You can share your light, your love. Every little thing counts. Survival is simply teaching truth. And honesty is the highest truth, which is spiritual truth. The best thing is not to have questions and to only be the answer. It's to not have to rely on educational systems to teach you what you already know. You definitely need to know that antibiotics cure all cancers. Antibiotics. Cancer is a bacterial infection that's gone wrong internally. So you want to decrease bacterial infections, so antibiotics, ginger, turmeric, that type of thing. Take a lot of showers, respect yourself, really. That's important. Stay away from soda. That can probably cause some types of bacterial problems. Understood? Coca-Cola is basically tamarind juice. So if you like tamarins that much, drink a lot of Coca-Cola. I'm not big into tamarind, to be honest, not anymore. So yeah, man. Enlightenment is really, it's not activism. It's not a grassroots movement either. I have to correct that. It's to be yourself and to love others. It's not to get married either, or type of thing, in my perspective, because that's religion and state. It's not to, having kids is fine. Just be sure to raise them in the proper environment where they're not led to want to fight. Fighting Fighting as enlightened, by the way, doesn't cause anybody any good because we represent the earth here. The enlightened represent life. In general, we're respected by the ETs, respected by the angels, respected by the beings of light. And we definitely guide this. This is easy for us. So we definitely need to be sure of that. We are the leaders here. And we don't need religious authority to guarantee us our enlightenment. By nature, we're all God. We have to realize it. God does not change his mind. He is mind. And he does not need to change the future it's already created. So, being God does not mean that you're going to be walking on water, but you can walk on a frozen lake, frozen ice sheet. You can throw your net into a fish farm and have a bunch of fish. Or you can have pot of wine, add water, and there you go. Easy, but don't fish farm because that's ridiculous. Ancient scrolls from the Essenes say Jesus was a vegan and activist for animal rights. I mean, hardcore. The Pope eats meat, man. Cooks it himself. So, no. Yeah, so basically, I'm here basically in survival mode. I'm here to survive. I just survived. I'm still surviving. As I said, I got out of a draft, man. So, serious stuff. So, you want to know that kids like me, they look upon to be traded for money or power. So, you want to know that. You'll probably have some type of reason to believe you can change the world, and you are. But just know that to live a basic, peaceful life is the best thing in the world, man. When veterans come home, and veterans forever, by the way, care gift to veterans and respect them a lot. Their happiness is that they're home and safe. It's not something you want to go through. It's not something you should go through either. As an enlightened person, because you're going to be fighting yourself here. And you don't want to do that. You represent America. You are America if you're American. And to me, the United Nations is American, and so is the universe. So is God. Me. So, we know that we are what we are. And that makes us special. It's not to look on to me as a leader or be jealous of me either, or to believe that I'm trying to convince you of something that's not true. I'm being honest here. It's just to realize that you have the ability to do what I did better. That's my answer. And I want you to do better than I've done at this point. I'm not here to hack. Because hacking, that's not something you should ever do, because that's counter technology. I'm not here to fight. That's counter physicality. I'm not here to be a psychiatrist. That's counter chemicaling. I'm not doing that. You gotta be sincere not to even spiritually fight or deal with that. That's counter spiritual. You don't want to do that. You don't want to go against the grand of peace. You want to be peace. You want to be healthy. You want to live a good life. You want to do the best you can. You want to be beautiful and admirable and sincere. You want to do the right thing. And you want to be good, just like me. And better than me. And I hope that's possible. It's easy to understand that the best and brightest are still here. And we're going to get together and do this. You can do it by yourself. But don't be alone, because, at least in your own mind. Because that's like the element of communism. Or I'm not a communist. Communism has like this super lonely feeling. Not me, Know your entertainment as well. I like electronic music because it's optimistic, really uppity. I don't like music that has disrespectful lyrics because it tells me where the person is aligned at that point. At least in his financial endeavor. You definitely want to see that making money is important. However, sharing money is more important. Just not being in war is enough for me to be happy. Seriously. And that's enlightenment to me. That's my peaceful way. It's kind of like Jesus facing, the world with the devil here. It's like, you can have everything, which is what happened to me, I swear. And I was like, no, that's not what I want. I'm not going to train myself out to be a Roman guard so I don't get, quote unquote. So yeah, it's not going to happen. Pretty easy. So, yeah, do your best. be happy. Knowing of your positivity will be good enough for you to succeed. And succeed in everything you do, no matter what. And I think it's going to be a beautiful thing for you to succeed with and succeed through and succeed as. Be proud of yourself. Be proud of you. Be proud of me. And be proud of what's happening. And be honest with you. Every day you will know the beauty of what we understand is what I just said. You will know how to be yourself is the most important thing, and that's to be your soul. And your soul is your spirit, and your spirit is your happiness. It's to stay on earth as much as you can, and that's just honor. It's not to take it away from anybody either. It's to follow one simple commandment to myself, which is don't kill yourself, meaning you don't kill anybody. Pretty much. As simple as it is. Don't forget that. You're here to be holy and divine, graceful, intuitive, be all you can be. Avoid, chemicals in general that are hurtful to you. Antibiotics are pretty good. Be all you can be. Be strong, be a civilian citizen, but you can work DoD too and be Army strong. I'm also, Special Forces, by the way, so, I could say I've done a lot, and I'm still healthy, I have no physical pain, I'm okay, I haven't had to do anything bad thus far, and that's why I like myself as a corporal, and that's the best thing I can do for you. I'll be here, and I'll be happy, and the best case scenario is the only case scenario. You can definitely fly to heaven whenever you want. It's just a few techniques. Read New Age books if you want to. You don't have to. You don't have to see angels or beings of light. You don't have to see God. Experience is not enlightenment. Remember that? You don't have to experience enlightenment. Experience is enlightenment. That's true. Yet, you don't have to experience enlightenment to be enlightened. It's the same knowledge. It's a knowledge that will lead you into success in family, in business, in peace, in health, and in prosperity, in military, in every good field. So, be proud of everything you've done, and be very, very happy with all you've done. Don't forget it. Don't forget the goodness you've implied. Don't forget that you've chosen this path before you came in the highest state of intelligence possible. There's everything you need to know about yourself. Everything you experience, God has given you. This is God's gift to you. And you're welcome to be happy. And in the initiative of a free spirit, to be as humble or eclectic as possible. To work your way up your own ladder, inside of your own heart. And to definitely be ego-filled. Very important. Ego is not a false sense of self. It's a truth of your own divine inheritance. And be sure that the angels love you, beings of light love you. They're here with you. They care for you. And when you decide to follow the American path, and that's pretty much it, you'll know that the breath of God is in life, and it flows through you, and that you're welcome to be strong and a friend to God, God's best friend, indeed. Be happy, be yourself, be good to others, share abundantly, and be the best case scenario for all of us to be proud of. I'm proud of you. I'm honored to know you. I know that what I just said is important. It's all true. And we're going to be here together to make the world safe by sharing enlightenment. So, share it to yourself, and be sure to shine out loud like the light, and understand that I am here for you because we love each other.